Well, hello there. Had my cam off. I apologize for that. Welcome to Forcify Entertainment. I'm Michelle with two L's. And there's someone missing tonight, and that would be Natalie the Red. Yes, she is feeling a little under the weather tonight and will not be with us. But do not fear, she will be back soon. And we have a special guest that will be joining us in her place this evening. And Natalie does not, I would like to say, she does not have the coof. Remember back in the day when we just got regular colds and regular sicknesses? That's what she has. So she's just not feeling herself tonight. So she wasn't able to come. But she'll be back. And I want to go ahead and say hello before we bring our guest out to Marcos, our awesome moderator. Always good to see you. Keely, so very nice to see you. John, hello. Share Bear, always nice to see you as well. Dominic, good to see you. And thank you very much. Yes, we hit 4K subs today. And we appreciate every single one of you for subscribing. So it's awesome. But now onward to 5K. 5K is our next goal. And hello to a straight black man. Nice to see you as well. And hello, Nicole. It is always lovely to see the lovely Nicole. And let's see, is that everyone right now? Steven, good to see you. Griffin, always good to see you as well. And the Science Fictionary podcast, always good to see our good friends of the Red 5 Network. Good to see you, Andrew. Let's see. I feel like I just skipped a lot of people. I did. Let's see. Joker Voice. It's nice to see you, Joker Voice. I feel like it's been a while, but good to see you. And then let's see. Darth, good to see you. Shane, thank you very much, Shane. We appreciate that. Chris Ellis, the Bond meme. Hello, Michelle. Elvis over Drug 3. That's right. You tell Jay. Jay earlier on the stream was trying to compare himself to Elvis, and Chris and I weren't having it. We think a lot of Drug 3PO, but come on. Let's not put yourself on Elvis's level, is all we were trying to say. And let's see. Anyone else that I missed? Do not believe so. Well, awesome. I'm sure more will come in. Nice to see everyone in the chat already. Well, again, Natalie is a little under the weather, but she'll be back soon. But I thought in the meantime, because the show, in the words of Queen, the show must go on. So I got my other sibling to fill in for Natalie's place. So I'm going to bring him out tonight. Our dear brother, Michael. Michael, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, good to be here. Hello, everybody. I know I don't really know you and you don't know me, but hello.
I think, guys, Natalie said she would join the chat a little bit later. I don't know. We'll see if she does. I guess it depends on how she's feeling. Michael, you probably have words to say that Drunk 3PO was trying to place himself on the same level as Elvis.
Yeah,
Chris
I heard
and I
that.
were telling him not to go there.
In what way was he making that comparison? Like vocally, or what was his claim?
I feel like it was just kind of overall, because he was at SeaWorld and they had Blue Christmas was playing, and I put in the comments the best version of that song is Elvis's version of Blue Christmas, and he's like, "Oh, I'm better than Elvis."
Okay, gotcha. So he's just the charisma, the voice, the whole package,
everything.
Yeah, that's a big claim.
I very much expect. Which was his comeback, Michael? Was it Hawaii or Vegas? Was Elvis's comeback special?
That was actually 68, and it was shot in California in a studio with a small audience.
Oh, okay. Well, I half expect Drunk 3PO to try to pull off that off at some point.
Yeah.
To back his claim. But yeah, we were telling him, oh yeah, Chris knows. He knows. 68 in California.
Yeah.
What was the Hawaii one? That was like a big deal.
That was 1973. That was the first time that a musician or an entertainer had been broadcast worldwide. So
Okay.
they estimate that 1 billion people watch that show.
It's quite a few people.
Yeah, especially for especially for 1973. You know.
So drug 3PO, if you're listening and you want to outdo Elvis, you're gonna need to get how many billions of people?
They say 1 billion people watched him at the Aloha Hawaii special.
So when you get 1 billion views,
Yeah.
we can talk.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, G3PO. And yes, you guys can go ahead and subscribe. Michael, you're just now kind of getting back onto YouTube since your move. So
Yeah.
Marcos has your channel in the description, and I have his channel. For those of you watching later, I have his description or his channel in our description as well.
Great.
But, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Appreciate that. Obviously my channel's a little different than you guys, but you know, if anybody's interested in it, love to have you check it out.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think you know you do cover like Christianity and that type stuff, but you're also kind of going to begin to cover a little bit more, right?
Yeah, if you have any interest in like the current events and you know kind of political happenings and especially like what's going on in the financial systems and things like that, I cover those kind of topics. So if you have any interest in those things, it's a little more serious, I guess you could say, than this channel. But if you ever want to dive into some of those, go down some of those rabbit trails, that's where we go. That's where I've gone on the podcast, and so I'm going to kind of replicate that in shorter videos on the with YouTube.
Well, there you go. Brandon says it's a good channel. You got right there.
Well, good. Appreciate that, Brandon.
Yeah. So anyways, guys, I was going to get started. The first thing I wanted to talk about tonight, actually, let me pull up my share screen 1 second, everyone. Let me pull up what I wanted to share this evening. Let's see. There we go. I wanted to look at this because, as the Jewish deplorable says, this is such a beautiful sight. Because let's see, these are where the states where Biden's vaccine mandate has been blocked. And they've been blocked in every single state. And in fact, I believe even Mayor de Blasio, because he did a mandate, I think for kids like all the way down to 5 years old. Like you had to show your papers to get in anywhere in New York City.
That's insane. That's
yes,
utterly and completely insane.
And it got blocked today by some judge, I guess more local judge.
Yeah, one of the federal circuits or something.
Yes, it got blocked. Yeah. So he got blocked and Biden got blocked all within about 24 hours of one another.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Are you allowed to say vaccine? I thought that was one of the no words.
I'm not really sure if you can fully say it. I don't know. If
you're
talking about sometimes we just refer to the jab, but yeah.
Taking the medicine.
Yes. And for purposes, we are not doctors and you can consult your doctor, but it's nice to know that freedom still apparently reigns in America.
Right.
So I thought that was a bit of good news. Were you surprised by this or no?
Me?
Yes.
Not exactly, but I'm glad. I mean, I hadn't really thought it out that far because nothing seems to stop them from pushing it to the next level. And so basically, you're seeing it wrap up or you're seeing it unveil exactly the way that I think many of us kind of could see back months ago, that it doesn't stop at 1. It doesn't stop at 2. It's not going to stop at 3. It's now up to 3. But if you think that's going to stop, it's not going to stop. It's going to be 4. It's going to be 5. It's a lifetime program.
Basically, exactly. Because I mean, they've spent so much money creating this and they have so many ready to go. Like, I'm pretty sure they caught it's on Twitter. I want to say it was maybe in Australia. Like she just comes out and says it like basically these are indefinite, like the boosters.
Yeah. I mean, they're at least they're being honest about it, but if you look at what happened with us, it's no different. It's a psychological manipulation, 15 days to slow the spread. Well, if they would have told us right up front, it's going to be like 120 days to slow the spread, everybody would be like, no, I can't do that. I can't do it. But they give a very manageable initial marker. Then
Yes.
that 15 got moved back to 30. Then it got moved back to about 60. And then, of course, in some states, they're still slowing the spread, depending on where you might live. But they're doing the same thing with this. Of course, they're not going to tell us up front that it's a lifetime program. They're just going to say, you know, once you get it, everything goes back to normal. And then people get it and they say, well, actually, you're not fully medicated anymore. Yeah. Yeah. You're not really fully, you're not fully medicated anymore. You need another. And so do we really think that that's going to suffice, that once the third is taken, that everything's going to be okay? I mean, Dr. Fauci, he got on today, and I can't believe the guy still has press conferences, to be honest with you. I mean, is anybody really listen to like what's going to come out of this guy's mouth? You could put me up there and I could do the same thing that Fauci's going to do. Get another booster. That's the answer. I mean, you know that that's all the guy's going to say. And that's exactly what he said. This Omicron has come. Boosters are very effective. You need to get the booster.
For starters, like if you listen to Fauci at this point, like I just kind of question your ability to think.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, I mean, because it has nothing to do with like questioning doctors or questioning scientists. It has to do with the insane things that he said for the past 2 years and the fact that the guy has been all over the map. And the only thing he truly seems interested in is basically being a medicine salesman.
Yeah, definitely. But as you're and Shane, he knew it. It was New Zealand. I knew it was one of those places that woman was basically just. I mean, she was basically just honest.
Yeah, she also said there'll be 2 classes of citizen: those who are medicated and those who are not medicated.
Yes, that is correct. Yeah, yeah, which is just it's gross. And then what's going on in Austria and Germany right now? I mean, it's disgusting. Like it really is what they're doing. So let's just guys. America needs to continue to be, well, in order to be land of the free, you have to be the brave, as the statement says. So people need to, as our friend Nina often says, do not comply is kind of the route people have to take with that. But yeah, it's kind of like the hardest part of 15 days to slow the spread, or to slow the spread is the first 20 months.
Yeah, exactly. That's the most difficult. And you know, I listened to today. I'll be real quick with this, but I listened not today, but yesterday to Dr. Robert Malone, who is a scientist. He's a vaccinologist. He's obviously not anti-vax. He's a vaccinologist. He is the creator of the mRNA technology, which they are using in this medication. Okay. But he's also a reasonable, rational man. And so he was sharing that this is a new technology. And frankly, we don't really know long-term exactly what it's going to do. But he did say that what we are finding out with some very solid data out of Japan is that this medicine can cause significant inflammation in the heart in about 1 out of every 25 to 2,700 young men, 12 and under. So armed with that knowledge and armed with the impact that this virus has on that age group, why on earth would you ever give them that medicine? I'm not saying it doesn't make sense maybe for somebody who's high risk or who's 65 or, you know, whatever, but why on earth would you ever take that risk on a young boy that is essentially at no risk of the actual disease themselves?
Yeah, that's been going on around Twitter, that heart condition. It's like people like athletes that are in good shape or like dropping dead or having heart problems. And there's all these like, wonder what's going on. And it's like, I don't know. What's been the one difference in this situation? I mean, it's kind of easy to figure out. But thank you, Mr. Butt Crack, the one and only, the most lovely butt crack on the sexiest butt crack on YouTube, as he says, for the $2 super chat. We appreciate that very much. And we have
yeah baby.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. And as for the sake of Mama Susan, again, we are not doctors, so you can consult your doctor for medical advice.
Yeah.
But we are people with brains. But anyways,
Yeah.
let's see. I wanted because something the Science Fictionary podcast in the chat. Basically, Elon Musk said the exact same thing
Oh, really?
today. Yeah, let's see. Here we go. Yeah, nothing is more permanent than a temporary government program.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, oh boy. Yeah. I mean, that's again, if you like talking about that kind of stuff, that's the kind of stuff that'll be on my channel because these temporary programs that they're putting in the budget that they're saying are 1.4 trillion, they're going to be way more than that because they're never going to go away. And they're only funding them for like 3 or 4 years. So do you think on year 5 they're just going to stop giving away these goodies? Of course they're not. They're going to find a way to fund it for year 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's never going to go away.
Yeah, it's not. It's definitely not. It's guys, it's crazy. It's almost 2 years. It's time to move on. It's kind of my feeling on this. But anyways, that's thank you for going to our TED Talk.
Yeah, let's veer it back to the what you usually talk about. We'll get away from this stuff.
Okay. Let's see. I want to talk about this. Let me pull down my private chat. I wanted to talk about this
Daredevil?
news. Yes, because I know you were a big fan. Guys, you guys know I've said so many times, I feel like you guys probably get tired of me telling you that I've never been the biggest MCU fan in the world. But one thing I absolutely adore, and I would say that outside of The Dark Knight, I love the Netflix version of Daredevil more than any comic book thing I've ever watched. Like, I absolutely loved it. In fact, I rewatched all 3 seasons about this time last year and was just reminded of like just how phenomenal it is. I mean, it truly is like to me comic book perfection.
Yeah, it was a really good series. The actor that played Kingpin, like I've seen him in other things. He played like the big cockroach in Men in Black 2 or Men in Black 1, one of them, the one.
And do you know, it almost caught me off guard. He was in the first Jurassic World with Chris Pratt, and he had hair, and it threw me off, and I didn't even recognize him.
Yes, yeah. So, based on the roles I'd seen him in, he really does. I would not have anticipated him doing that good of a job playing Kingpin. I mean, he did. You can't stand him, yeah.
Phenomenal as Kingpin. Yeah. Like such an amazing character, like that he created him. Like the way he talked, even Vanessa, like everything he did. It was awesome. And then I'm not even one thing. Okay. So one of the reasons, guys, I've never been the biggest MCU fan is you guys know, if you've listened to this channel, I don't like big CGI fights. And I feel like I get a lot of those in MCU movies. Like as soon as that happens, I've checked out. But like Daredevil, so I'm picky on what fighting I like in TV or movies. But the Daredevil fighting, like I was always there for it. Like, I mean, that was some of the most phenomenal fight sequences that I've ever seen in TV or movie. I don't know if you remember, Michael, but like especially in season 2, Daredevil he puts the Punisher, who's like knocked out, on a elevator and is sending him down to the bottom floor. Meanwhile, he's going down like a flight of stairs, taking out an entire biker gang. And I mean, that whole sequence is just like phenomenal. Like it's awesome.
Yeah. You're saying you vastly prefer the real choreographed fighting with actors as opposed to the we'll just CGI that and we'll make it like extremely fast and we'll sling them all over the place and it'll be great.
Yes, absolutely. And I mean, to me, I just loved, again, I compare it again. I love The Dark Knight, that kind of gritty take on a comic book. And to me, this, like, outside the fact that a blind person is doing karate, it just feels like, which obviously makes, his superpowers, but they made it feel so real. And I so enjoyed like Fisk in season 1, him taking down like corrupt people, politicians, Wilson Fisk, all these different characters. I just enjoyed the grittiness of it. So anyways, long story short, I was really sad when Netflix canceled this because of their little battle with Disney and Disney Marvel. And it's just kind of sat for 2 years since the last season, which to me was like perfect, finished. And so so here's what I want to get into. I'm in one way, I'm excited about this announcement and the possibilities of Charlie Cox signing back on. And clearly, what's his name? Vincent, you mentioned the guy who plays Kingpin.
Yeah.
He's been tweeting about it recently. And as Dominic said, I believe Kingpin is going to be in the Hawkeye series, actually. And hello to Echo Base, our good friends at Echo Base. Nice to see you. So I believe even he's getting ready to probably be brought back into the brought into the MCU for the first time, I guess, technically. So I'm very excited as far as I would love, if Kevin Feige wants to make me so happy, just give me season 4 of Daredevil with the same cast, the same team behind it, and put it on Hulu and let it be as gritty and bloody as it was. Like, that would make my absolute day.
So it couldn't be on Netflix? There's
No, Netflix had worked with them, and they kind of had a power thing with Disney, and that's when they were like, they canceled the shows, and they knew that Disney couldn't touch them then for 2 years, but that 2 years is up. It's been up. And so Disney now has the rights to these characters again. And so I think a good place if they would do a season 4 would be to put it on Hulu, which Disney owns. And because Hulu would allow them to keep it at to make it the same as it was on Netflix, to not be as kid friendly.
Yeah, it's a little dark for Disney Plus.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely a little bloody, a little dark for Disney Plus, for sure.
Especially like, I mean, like when Kingpin smashes that guy's head in the car over and over and over.
Brutal in season 1.
I mean, they're you don't want the kids watching those kind of things.
Yeah, definitely not. And as Dominic and Joker Voice said, Kingpin was definitely. Have you been watching Hawkeye, Michael?
No, I haven't.
I've not been a huge fan. In fact, I didn't even watch Loki because Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I just thought was so bad that I couldn't even finish it. And I just didn't even watch Loki. But he may not like me saying this. It was actually Drunk 3PO who told me he was enjoying Hawkeye. So I started watching it, and I have really enjoyed it. It's lighthearted, it's family friendly, it's silly, but I have enjoyed it the most thus far out of all the Disney Plus Marvel series. And without a doubt, Vincent, whatever his name is, who played Kingpin in Daredevil, he absolutely, his voice was in it, because you see an arm grab a girl and you hear his voice and you know it's him. So I don't know if they're going to put him by the end of Hawkeye, if we'll see him in it. But they definitely have hinted at him in this. And then, of course, we know that Matt Murdock, well, I should say we know. Basically, we know he's going to be in the new Spider-Man movie, which we all suspect that it will be Matt Murdock who shows up as Spider-Man's lawyer, is what we're all thinking here.
Okay.
Because I don't know if you remember in the last Spider-Man, he kind of gets in, his identity gets blown and he's kind of in some trouble.
Yep.
So we believe they'll bring him in as his attorney, is where he'll kind of come into play there.
Yeah. I would, I'm going to go see the Spider-Man, but Marvel, as far as like the spinoffs, they've kind of lost me. Like, I just haven't kept up with it.
Well, there's just so much to keep up with.
Yeah. It's not that interesting to me. I did a little bit off subject, but I did check out what like everybody I've seen talking about is this Squid Games. And I watched 2 episodes, and I have to say, I can't do it anymore. I
haven't watched it.
Yeah. It's just not doing it for me. I find it like difficult. I found it difficult to get through the first 2 episodes. Like, there was nothing in me that wanted to start number 2, but I thought, well, let's see how it goes. And then after number 2, there was nothing in me that wanted or was compelled to start number 3. And I said, that's, I don't think I'm going to waste my time with this anymore.
Do you know, like, for me, and I've heard good things about that movie, but I think, like, because I kind of watch TV at the end of the day. And at the end of the day, after working, doing whatever I've been doing, the last thing I want to have to do is read subtitles the whole time.
Well, you don't have to read the subtitles, but
Okay.
you can tell that an American actor is like dubbing the words over. The lips
Okay.
the lips don't line up. And to me, there's always times that's like kind of clumsy and awkward. And it's just when I'm watching it, I'm just like, I can't do this. Isn't doing it for me. But a lot of people evidently love it. So maybe episode 3 gets great. But episode 1 and 2,
You're not hanging in for episode 3.
Yeah. Episode 1 and 2 didn't reel me in.
Yeah, I know Natalie's watching. I'll have to see what she thinks about it too. And thank you so much, Rick, for the $25 super chat. I'm with Michelle with 2 L's on this. I'm guessing that's about Daredevil, which, I mean, it's awesome. This is how I feel about Daredevil.
Football! It gives me wings!
Thank you very much, Rick. And let's see. And there's the Leia Rose. Nice to see you. And thank you very much, Joker Voice. Kristen Ritter and John Berthel are presently in talks to reprise Jessica Jones and Punisher for the MCU. Finn Jones is 100% not in talks with MCU. Okay, I will say that out of the people cast in Marvel, the Netflix Marvel, Kristen Ritter, like, she was Jessica Jones. Like, she made me care. And I mean, what a fantastic character. I didn't love season 2 or 3 of the show. Season 1 was great, even though very, very dark. Probably too dark, but dark. But she was great. And then John Bernthal, I mean, he's awesome as the Punisher. I mean, he truly is. Like, he owns that role. I can't see anyone else as the role at this point. So I hope you're right on that. Let's see what I got for you. I've got.
Did we just become best friends? Yep.
But yeah. So and back to what I was showing you guys. Back to this story. So anyways, here's my one thing with this, Michael. I am scared, and there is some fear on the internet from people that I've kind of talked to. We're scared that they're going to take these beloved characters from these versions of these movies. Not movies, but TV shows that we loved, that were dark, that were gritty, that were grounded in kind of reality. Mm-hmm. And they're going to MCU them up. And that's kind of the fear.
I mean, why, when has Disney ever done anything like that before? Taken beloved characters and ruined them? I mean, I can completely see why that apprehension is there. And frankly, I don't have a lot of trust or faith that a Disney controlled season 4 would be able to match up to season 1, 2, and 3, but maybe I would love to be proved wrong, because there's not a whole lot to, I'm always looking for good shows, because there's a lot of shows out there, but for me, there's not that many good ones. And so I'm always looking for good ones. And that one was a good one, yes. But can Disney continue to keep it good?
Yeah, I don't know, because the only way I think they could do like Daredevil, I mean, if he just kind of cameos a little bit in the MCU, fine, and then give him his own show on Hulu, like I said, but they need to bring back the showrunner and the creative team behind the series, or if not, I say just forget it, because they're just gonna ruin it, probably, in my opinion. It will become a different character than the one that we all fell in love with these particular actors.
It's difficult for one organization to replicate what another one did. It's like unless they literally just got the same people and were like, just make the show, like just keep going.
Yes.
I don't see how they're going to not alter it. And it's probably not a high chance that they're going to alter it for most people to go, oh my gosh, it's better now. I like it more this way than I did before. Yeah.
And hopefully, I mean, Kevin Feige definitely seems to like do his own thing, but hopefully he's smart enough to know that like it would not be a wise decision. He's if there's been one thing Kevin Feige for the most part has been good at, it's being a good businessman. And surely he knows that if he changes this up too much, it's just going to tick people off.
I would think so.
I mean, that's more a Kathleen Kennedy move.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I would think so. But you never know. You never know.
And I mean, basically, like if they're gonna really mess with the Punisher and why did I just forget how to say his name? Berthal, I think's his name. You guys had it in there. Who was just? Did you watch his actual shows, Michael? The Punisher season 1 and 2.
I didn't. I didn't see. I didn't watch The Punisher, and I didn't watch a lot of Jessica Jones. I didn't watch any of Luke Cage, but I really liked Jessica Jones in the one where they were all together.
The Defenders.
Yes. I really like Jessica Jones in that. And Luke Cage was fine in that too, but I didn't watch any of his show and not a whole lot of the Jessica Jones standalone series.
Yeah, really, again, Jessica Jones season 1 was great. The rest was eh. But let's see. But Punisher season 1 and 2 were both really good. And again, guys, if you're gonna mess with a character, yeah, I think that's definitely been proven. When it comes to money, if you are going to mess with a character like the Punisher, you just can't Disneyfy the Punisher. Like that's basically kind of more an R-rated character. I mean, his character is literally being judge, jury, and executioner.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Disney does Deadpool. It just doesn't work that well,
Yeah, and they are going to do Deadpool, and I don't know how that's going to work.
Oh, they are? Really?
Yeah, but I think Ryan Reynolds is so particular about his character because it's basically, I mean, he's had so much pull on that. Disney's claiming they're going to let it be R and be its own thing because Disney can still put things under the Fox umbrella and kind of put stuff over there.
They didn't do the other Deadpools, did they?
No, but they bought Fox, which had the rights to Deadpool.
Oh, 21st Century Fox?
Yes. So they can let him do something with that in an R rating because Deadpool, and it's even my understanding from the comics, like he is an R-rated character. Like there's just no version of him that's PG-13.
No. I mean, he's not a clean comic. He's not a clean comic character.
No.
And I actually haven't seen any of those movies, but I know some about the comics, and I know that if they stayed true to that, like it's not going to be kid friendly in any way.
No, definitely not. So I'm interested in one part, guys, I'm very excited about this news about Charlie Cox coming back as Daredevil because I thought he was so great in the TV show and of course the other characters as well in the TV show. But I'm a little nervous of what they're going to do with it. But fingers crossed that Kevin Feige will be a wise businessman and do the right thing in this situation. Because it would make so many people so happy just to give us a season 4. I mean, it would be good press for Disney if they would do it right.
Yeah. I mean, it would, but yeah, it would have to be, I guess, on Hulu would probably be the way to go with
Definitely, because Hulu's kind of where, so Disney now has the 21st Fox umbrella to put more, I guess, darker, less Disney stuff under. And then they also have Hulu, which has plenty of stuff that's on that level as well. So we'll see. Hopefully they do it. I want to see. Michelle is a huge fan of Seth Rogen and Santa Inc. Good Lord. Have you seen the trailer for that, Michael?
Yeah, it's completely ridiculous. Like
it's the most cringe thing. It's awful.
It's like people that are way down in the double-digit IQs got together and were like, hey, let's come up with a way to influence people by funny claymation and win them over to our point of view. And it's like, it's that obvious, like exactly what their agenda is, exactly what they're doing. It's like, why do your crazy politics have to even get involved in Santa Claus?
I mean, there was a frickin' joke right in, like, I guess the first episode that's in the trailer about the Jap.
About children getting it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's when you knew what you were in for.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It was, and then of course the whole premise of it is basically white man bad.
Right.
And
Right. Yeah.
but you know,
Santa's this rude buffoon, basically, you know.
yeah, it's and you know, as someone else pointed out, I think the disrespect even this is something I'd even think of when we made our video on it. The disrespect of two people that claim to be Jewish in Seth Rogen and Sarah Silverman trashing Christmas, which is associated with Christianity.
Yeah.
So they never cease to fail, guys. Well, let's see. Well, the other thing I was going to pull up, the big news, or I wouldn't say it's necessarily big news, but let me pull this up 1 second, guys. Actually, hold on. Let me pull this up. And still not pulling up. 1 second. Here, I'll let you guys see what I'm doing here. Let me go back to it. Let's see. Oh, wrong thing. Let me find this. Here we go. Let's put that down. Let's blow this up.
Was this the final trailer?
Yes. Jabba's palace. BAFTA tank.
Yeah.
Left for dead on the sands of Tatooine. I am Boba Fett.
And that's that.
Yeah.
Michael,
What do you think?
What?
I mean, my gut reaction is like, yeah. I mean, I'll watch it.
That's been my gut reaction, honestly, since they announced this project.
Yeah. And for those that are like really big Boba Fett fans, and there's probably a lot of people my age that are, I never caught it. I never caught the Boba Fett fever.
Yes.
But for those that did and like really have loved Boba Fett.
Your son loves Boba Fett.
Yeah, I know he does. So I'm glad for him. And I'm really glad for everybody that really has wanted more Boba Fett. But for me, I'm not super pumped, but I'm going to watch it.
Yeah, I'm going to watch it too. And first, let me thank you very much for the 99 super sticker. It's a short story. I believe that's Laura. Nice to see you in the chat, and we appreciate it.
Do you really love the lamp, or are you just saying it because you saw it?
I love lamp. I love lamp.
We love your super sticker, so thank you very much. Yeah, I'm the same with you, because I was such a, and I know you guys have heard this before, but because I was such a Han girl, like Boba Fett, he just ruined like my favorite moment in Star Wars of Han and Leia by getting Han caught. So I
hated Boba Fett, to be honest with
I did too. I
hated
couldn't stand him in the original trilogy.
And then Clone Wars didn't make him better because he was like this little brat, the entire time.
Yes.
And so actually Filoni's, the way he took the character was the first that I was like, okay, Boba Fett's not so bad, but up until that point, I wasn't a fan at all.
Yeah, I was not a fan. And thank you again, Laura, with the 199 super chat. Wonder if they will have Luke Boba reunion. I'm definitely wondering that. Michael, if you're a betting man, what are your odds that Luke shows up in the show? And Grogu?
I'd say 50-50.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like with the advertisement that John and Dave have been keeping things really close to the chest, like they're not showing us hardly anything, which makes me think there's going to be some big reveals and surprises. And that's just kind of what they've been doing anyways. That's kind of
Yeah.
in line with what they've already done. Um, so I could definitely see him showing up.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know that Luke's a big Boba fan either. But then again, Luke, I guess, may have to appreciate him because Boba does redeem himself by helping Mando get Grogu.
Yeah, that's what I mean is
Yeah.
Favreau took the character in a way that you're like, well, maybe Boba Fett was a little misunderstood all these years.
And then, guys, okay, so as long as it gets edited and gets approved,
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you guys in on our next, or maybe the first, because our first recorded first watch is under review by Universal. But Natalie and I, this past weekend, for the first time, watched the 1978 Star Wars Holiday Special.
Oh boy, that's terrible.
It was really bad,
Yeah.
but that's where you get Boba Fett's first appearance, and
Yeah.
he's a snake in that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like he's like you're like, oh, maybe Boba Fett's not a bad guy. Then you're like, traitor.
Yeah. I think Boba Fett, if the way that Filoni brought him about, you could say he's like one of the old school Italian mafiosos. Like
Mhm.
he's not really a good guy, but if he doesn't
He
have
has honor.
yes, he has honor. And if he doesn't have business with you, like he's not going to mess with you just for the sake of messing with you. Like either he's
Yes.
got business with you or he doesn't. And if he doesn't, like you don't really have to worry about him. He's not going to bother you. And if it comes to something that's within his honor code, like he's going to do it.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. I think that definitely seems to be how Boba is. So it will be interesting. They definitely endeared me to him in The Mandalorian because you guys know I love Grogu. Um, but I've never been a big Boba fan. And to me, it's like you said, this series, there's nothing that's like, whoa, wow, like the way I felt. Because you were this way too. When they first announced The Mandalorian, it was like, okay, like that doesn't mean anything to me. I don't care.
I even said, I don't think I'm gonna like it. I don't care about Mandalorians. I don't think it's gonna be something that I like that much. And it was a big surprise. So Boba
It
Fett
was.
could do the same thing.
Yes, but here's what I was gonna say. By the time they released the first actual trailer for The Mandalorian, it got me excited. I've yet to really get excited about this, but that doesn't mean anything. Maybe they're just playing it close to the chest and I really enjoy it. I'm definitely gonna watch it. We'll review it, but I'm still not like Mandalorian excited that I got. So I don't know.
I'm really looking forward to this Obi-Wan.
Yes.
I'm looking
And
forward
we're
to
like,
that.
fingers crossed, please don't screw that one up.
When is that coming out?
I think it's gonna come out like next year, maybe May-ish, or maybe I think if it doesn't come out by May, it's gonna be fall of next year.
I would love to be coming into that and Boba Fett be like May,
Yeah, I know.
but I guess we'll just deal with it. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that one, especially, they're not being secret about the fact that Vader is going
Is
to be
in
in
it.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, they're not even secretive at this point. In fact, they're gonna have another confrontation. Like it's going to
Yeah.
happen, which is gonna tick X amount of people off. It doesn't bother me. Again, I've expressed this on the channel that I feel like there's wording in the original trilogy that allows for it.
There absolutely is. And I am a big Vader fan. And, so like if it was going to change Vader's original character, I wouldn't really love that. But here's the thing. All Vader says is that last time we met, I was the learner. Now I am the master. And that just says the last time he met. So
Yeah.
they could have met 3, 4, 5, 6 years after Mustafar, and Vader could still be given Obi-Wan the nod. Like, I couldn't get the best of you then. I was still the learner, but now I'm the master.
Yes, and I mean, even in that, Anakin would have to learn how to master being Vader, like adjusting to his mechanical body and things like
Yes,
that.
which anybody who has read any of the Vader post Revenge of the Sith stuff knows that there was an adjustment period where he had to kind of struggle to learn to be effective in that suit.
Yeah. Well, and too, another line, that line I think fits. Another line that I've kind of gone back to is, I believe it's a Return of the Jedi, where Vader says Obi-Wan once thought, like, basically like Obi-Wan kind of thought the way you did, Luke, like had hope for me. Like, there's no hope for me here. And it's like, when have we seen that? Because the last time we've seen him in George Lucas's version is him, basically kind of in tears, like, you were my brother, Anakin. And he just leaves him thinking like he's dead, like it's over.
Yeah, so for Obi-Wan, I'm just threshing out his character. For him to come to the realization that Anakin is still alive.
Yeah.
That there's going to be something in Obi-Wan that's still going to hope that he could be turned back from the Sith.
Yes.
And so maybe it's these encounters that they have that causes Obi-Wan to have such a pessimistic view that there's no hope for him. He's not going to turn back.
Yes. And I think if you're going to bring an Anakin back and you're going to have them face off in classic Star Wars fashion, there needs to be a lot of history and emotion. So I feel like the series needs to work its way of like you said, Obi-Wan having hope that he can still be turned once he realizes he's alive, and going to attempt to do that one last time is what I would say. And I think if they do that, I think it can be really good. Again, there's some people, they're just not going to have it. It is what it is. But I think if it's done right, it could be phenomenal.
But it's like, I really think that those people should be persuadable. This isn't Rian Johnson expertly subverting our expectations.
Yes.
This is filling in the gaps and creating potentially a new interpretation of the interpretation that we have held on to in our minds.
Yes.
George Lucas never said that was necessarily the way. We have just held to that in our minds because the prequels have us seeing Obi-Wan leaving Vader and then his body being burnt. And then we connect that with the New Hope and we say, well, that's it. That's what Vader was talking about, was that last encounter. Well, why does that have to be what he was talking about? There's nothing about the things that are written and the things that are set in stone other than the interpretations that we have created in our own head. There's nothing else that would concretely make that be to where they couldn't have had another encounter at some point between Mustafar and the Death Star in The New Hope.
Yeah. I mean, I've been saying this for a long time. I just don't have a problem with it. Again, my only problem will be if like they Rian Johnson, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah, I mean, like if Obi-Wan is drinking blue milk on an island and has given up hope after he finds out that Anakin is alive, and he disconnects himself from the Force and becomes, that would be bad.
That would be really bad.
Yeah.
I don't know. I actually pulled up someone last week, Nerd Cookies. She had put the definition of subvert, and I never really paid attention or read it. And she was like, "Dear Hollywood, this is not a good idea." And she put the definition of subvert. And hold on, let me actually see if I can find this. One quick, guys, or 1 second. Let me see. It should be in here. Let's see. Here we go. Let me pull this back up. You guys that were with us last week saw this, but Michael, I think you'll appreciate it.
Uh-huh.
So she puts up the definition of subvert. So subvert, to overturn or overthrow from the foundation, ruin.
Yeah.
To pervert or corrupt by undermining of morals or faith. I mean, it's just like,
yeah, this is just like an off the hand comment, but do you remember in seminary when lots of people got big on the idea that Jesus was subversive?
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah, I do.
I looked up the definition back then and I was like, this doesn't really fit. You know, this isn't. This,
It doesn't go together.
yeah, but no, that's a horrible idea to uproot something from the foundation. Like, then just do something totally new, Hollywood. Like, if something's that bad, like, just don't use it anymore. Just go do something totally new. But obviously it's not that bad because you paid $4 billion for it.
Yeah.
So there's no reason to subvert something that you paid $4 billion for.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's not. It's absolutely ridiculous.
You know,
And
there's
thank
a guy, Aaron Parks, he just started watching, he's my age, and he just started watching Star Wars. And so his son has got him watching them. So just recently he's watched like all the 6 regular ones and then the three new ones. And like, he was like so he doesn't have any emotion on it. He's just started watching it. And he asked me, he says something about Return of the Jedi. And I said, I hate, what is the name of it? I've blocked it out of my brain.
The Last Jedi?
The Last Jedi. Yeah, he said something about
Okay.
The Last Jedi. I said, I hate that movie. And he's like, really? He didn't understand it at all. And then when I explained it to him, he was like, I can see that. But when you take all the emotion out of it, of seeing Luke like I did as a 2-year-old boy, like all the way up, and then you ruin the character, it's a lot bigger deal.
It is. Yeah, it was definitely a big deal. And thank you very much, Laura, for the $1.99 super story. Super story, super chat. I was reading your name in that. Great EU novel for Boba is Bloodlines. I've never read that, so thank you for the recommendation.
That's a Boba Fett novel.
Yes, that would be EU, like back in the before
okay.
Disney purchased it.
Yeah.
Luke drinking green milk is epic.
Yeah.
He really liked that space gal. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
Subvert your expectations and you'll never be disappointed. That's kind of how you have to approach these things.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. But anyways, let's see. The last story that I wanted to cover tonight. No, here. There we go. Guys, why is my computer not doing what I want it to do? Hold on.
What is the story?
Well, I'm trying to pull it up and I'm having a hard time here. The story is what this loser said about Dave Chappelle.
Oh,
here we go.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I didn't even heard of the guy.
Yeah, I actually had to ask a friend who he was. And he's really connected in with Star Trek. I guess he was in Star Trek Genesis or whatever it was called. And I don't know. He's just kind of.
He was an actor in it?
Yeah. And then now he's like a host for Star Trek, whatever that really means. But yeah, he's super woke. And it kind of, to me, just kind of seems like a cry of like trying to be relevant. But basically, guys, he, as it says here, he's absolutely disgusted because guess what, guys? That's why I put in the thing. Dave Chappelle, uncancelable. They've tried to cancel the guy and he just got another big gig from Netflix. So Netflix is not listening to these losers and they're not canceling Dave Chappelle, who makes the money. And Dave Chappelle is like listing this big, I guess, comedic event. So this guy is ticked off. And, absolutely disgusted. Every single comedian who is on the bill should withdraw unless and until this despicable bigot is what? What does he say there? I can't see. I'm too far away. What word is he use? What word is that? Guys, sorry.
Uninvited. He has to be uninvited.
Gosh, hold on. Yes, that is uninvited. Sorry, guys. The computer's kind of far from me and I couldn't see it very good. Yeah, any comedian who is a part of this should be ashamed of themselves. Netflix may not believe in holding this piece of crap to account, but you all have to live with yourselves and that choice you make to perform with them. So a little backstory. This was posted on Facebook because this guy left Twitter because they, I guess, did not ban Trump fast enough.
So he hasn't come back. Is he back now? Is he
No,
satisfied? No?
no.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, I just thought this was funny because it just, I mean, my gosh, like, who do you think you're impressing with this?
I
Like, you're
mean,
not
first
going to
off,
win with this comment.
talk about like stay in your lane.
Yeah.
What I mean, the Star Trek guy gonna, weigh in on Dave Chappelle's comedy? I don't think that's a fit. I think maybe he's trying to get attention, and I don't know, maybe it's working, but I'm not sure that it's the kind of attention that's going to help his career in any way.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely not. It's just it's absurd. It's crazy that they all think this kind of junk is going to help them, but it rarely does.
Is anybody in the chat a big Star Trek fan? Anybody? I mean,
Well,
I
I
can't see
guess
the chat.
let's see. Hold on, guys. My Wi-Fi's low for a second. I guess Star Trek has kind of gone through a Star Wars situation where they've really ruined it for people. It's my understanding. I was
Yeah.
never into Star Trek, but I guess people really they're not loving the new Star Trek.
Well, I don't think anybody in the chat is either, because nobody's saying that. No, OG Star Trek. Okay, we got an original gangster Star Trek. Okay. Yeah, I don't know anything about it, so I can't even really comment on whether the new ones are good or whether they're bad. But I mean, obviously,
I'd say they're really bad.
well, I mean, I don't. Yeah, but I mean, obviously, the Star Trek guy carries no weight coming up against the biggest comedian in the industry right now, basically.
Yeah, really the biggest comedian probably of the last like 20 years.
Yeah. Now he claims that Kevin Hart is like bigger than him, but I don't see that.
I mean, I guess Kevin Hart is like bigger as far as like he gets all these movie roles and things, but I mean, Dave Chappelle's like, in the words that they use, he's the OG. Like
Yeah.
he's like who everyone like when you think stand-up comedian, you think Dave Chappelle. You don't necessarily think Kevin Hart, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, and then I know Kevin Hart recently was like he stands with Dave Chappelle and kind of addressed the ridiculousness when asked about the Dave Chappelle situation. So
Well, that's good.
it is, yeah. They need to stick together.
Yeah.
Which I hope people are empowered by Dave Chappelle to realize that if you will not bend to cancel culture, like they can't cancel you really. Like, Dave Chappelle just proved to everyone. I mean, I know Disney was able to fire Gina, but even Gina, all of a sudden, actually our guest last week, Cameron, pointed out that the trades are beginning to talk about Gina's activities again. Because
Yeah.
even Gina is beginning to come back into the national stage, even though she was fired by Disney. Because why? Because she refused to be canceled.
Yeah. Are you guys saying that the new Star Treks are woke? Is that what I'm picking up? Is that what they do?
That's what I've always heard. I know the
Really?
Critical Drinker has some pretty humor, and I don't even watch Star Trek, but some of his things on the new Star Trek series are pretty funny.
Okay. Yeah.
But he has a plushie now, by the way. But anyways, but yeah, I've heard they're very very woke.
And here's the craziness with this stuff is like, if you're going to say these kind of things, like my thing is be able to make an argument. And many of these people have no argument. What is your argument to support that all of this stuff needs to happen to Dave Chappelle? Where is your basis in reality? And if you let the guy defend himself, there's no way he could have one, because, you couldn't actually listen to the things that Dave Chappelle has said and come to the conclusion that he's a bigot. Like if you listen to his last stand-up, you would actually, yeah, of course he's going to say those things that are intended to make certain people mad. He's going to say things that are intended to make Trump supporters mad. He's going to say things that are intended to make the trans community mad. He's going to say things that's going to make homosexual community mad. He's going to take shots at everybody. That's what he does. But if you listen to the whole theme of his last stand-up, you see that he's doing the exact opposite of trying to be bigoted or cause division.
Yeah.
He's trying to make the case that the constant, incessant focus on bigotry and division is a much bigger problem than actual bigotry and division.
Yes. Yeah. Definitely. I mean, even Joe Rogan came out and supported him of just like, he's one of the, I think, again, it just shows how ridiculous these groups are being, that they actually think that like words or comedic words or violence. I mean, it's ridiculous. Violence. Violence. The words are violence.
Wow.
Well, I mean, that's why Gina basically had to go, was her words were violence towards a group of people with pronouns in their Twitter handles.
Well, I mean, when people like, when someone disagrees with you and you literally double over in pain and say things like, I can barely live, I can't take it. I guess if you're that weak, then words can become, almost like violence to you. But I mean, obviously you need to toughen up a little bit because not everybody's going to agree with you. I
know well, and I mean, the whole cancel culture, the whole woke SJW ideology, as Carrie was saying when she was on our show 2 weeks ago. I mean, it's rooted in Marxism. Like, it's rooted in, Marxism and modernism. What word am I looking for?
Postmodernism.
Postmodernism of where there's no real truth, so you can just kind of make crap up as you go along the way, and it's just about stripping people of power. So they're just going to keep doing it.
And if you ever listen to this kind of stuff and you go, "Am I going crazy?" No, you're not. They're crazy. And their insanity is trying to invade your world because their world has no anchor of reality. They can make up whatever they want because postmodernity says there's nothing that's absolute. Whatever is to me is to me. Whatever is to you is to you.
Yeah. Except they're not that zen about it because you have to agree with what they say.
Correct. But that's what it's evolved to. But the postmodern thought started with everything's relative. If that's good for you, that's fine. But there is no absolute truth. My truth is good for me. Well, that's a problem because when you can create your truth, you can tell lies and say that they're true. So it seems kind of clever, but in reality, right at the beginning of the postmodern movement, they gave away their big tell is that when any truth can become my truth, then anything can be true because I can tell lies and just simply say, well, it's my truth. How do you reason with somebody whose mind has been so twisted with things like that? You can't.
No, you can't. And kind of as we're closing up, I mean, that kind of reminds me, this is, I guess, technically not entertainment, but it's in the sports world and it goes with what we're saying. It's kind of like, even on a certain group of the alphabet gang. A person who is biologically born a male is now competing and dominating in college sports, women's swim. I don't know if you've seen that.
I hadn't seen that.
He's breaking records. I think he won his last meet by like 30 seconds.
When you can up the testosterone times 30, it tends to have that effect. It's amazing how that works.
Yeah, it is. But my
I think that not that I'm promoting this, but I think that the women athletes should be able to take testosterone now if they want to be like, well, I feel like this is my right to be trans testosterone. I want to have higher testosterone levels and therefore I should be able to have them because that's the only way they're going to be able to compete with men if they continue to put men in their sports.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all absolutely ridiculous. But anyways, guys, that's kind of it. Michael, thank you for coming on tonight, filling in for our sister Natalie.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
And everyone, Michael, you can check Michael out on Awaken to Truth on any place podcasts are, and also on YouTube. And he his description is in the link, and then also it's in the description of this video. But thank you again, Michael, and thank you to everyone in the chat. You guys are awesome. Hopefully next week Natalie's feeling better. She should be. We'll see. But anyways, that is it for tonight's weekly roundup. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, remember to be a force of light. All right, bye, guys.